Okay, guys, your other option was StudyLink 6.6, which is pretty tough in some cases. I'm going to walk you through those problems here as quickly as I can, but like I said in the last video, you can pause it and go back where you need to. I also have some extra paper here that I can show some of the work on because there's not a lot of room in that StudyLink. So the first one's pretty straightforward. You're going to do 6 times 3 first, so you have 5 plus 18 minus 2. 5 plus 18 is 23. 23 minus 2 is 21. So that's your answer for the first one. For number 2, you are going to start inside the parentheses first. Negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. And then I copy down everything else. Make sure I have that right. 4 times 9 divided by 2 plus 2. Yep. From there, I do multiplication or division first. This becomes 36 divided by 2 plus 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Plus 2 is 20. So that's the answer to number 2. For number 3, we have 1/2 plus 5/8 times 1/2 divided by 2. So working this way, I do 5/8 times 1/2 first, so that's 5 times 1 and 8 times 2, which would be 5 over 16. The next thing I do is 5/16 divided by 2, which is the same thing as times 1/2, so divided by 2 over 1 becomes times 1 over 2, so that becomes 5/32. So then what I have left is 1/2 from the beginning plus 5 over 32. If I rewrite 1/2 in terms of 32 so they have a common denominator, that would be 16 30-seconds plus 5 30-seconds is 21 over 30, it's 32, sorry, over 32. And that can't be reduced, so 21 30-seconds is the answer there. For number 4, give myself some room here. Start inside the parentheses. 2.3 plus 7.8 will be 10.1 times 4 plus 3. 10.1 times 4 is 40.4 plus 3 would be 43.4. Come down to number 5. I have start inside the parentheses. 3 minus negative 5 is the same as 3 plus positive 5, or 8. So I could rewrite that as 4 squared plus 7 times 8. 4 squared is 16. 7 times 8 is 56. So 16 plus 56 is 72. For number 6, running out of room here, I'll start a new sheet of paper next. For number 6, we have, starting inside parentheses, 2 times 4 is 8, so we have 8 plus 3 inside parentheses, and then times 6 divided by 2. 8 plus 3 is 11, so we have 11 times 6 divided by 2. 11 times 6 is 66, divided by 2 is 33. So I get 33 for my answer there. Okay, for the next part, 7 through 10, every time we see an M, which we see multiple times here in each of these, we're going to replace it with negative 3. So I would rewrite number 7 as, it would look like this, negative 3 over negative 3 plus 6 minus 4. So that's what it would look like. So I would have to start with negative 3 divided by negative 3. A negative divided by a negative is positive, so 3 divided by 3 would be 1. So this becomes negative 1 plus 6 minus 4. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. For the second part, I would rewrite this. We can solve this part before we get to the M. So 4 plus 11 is 15. 15 times negative 3 will be negative 45. And then if we keep working this way, we have negative 45 divided by 9. That will be negative 5. And then I have negative 5 times, this is a little tricky here, negative m. So that's the opposite of negative 3. So this is negative 5 times 3. So my answer will be negative 15. Okay, number 9. We have m squared, so this is negative 3 squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 is actually positive 9. And then here we have m cubed. So this is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, or 9 times negative 3, which is negative 27. But it's the opposite of that. So this, inside all of this, is actually positive 27. So we have 9 plus 27 minus 8. 9 plus 27 is 36. 36 minus 8 is 28. Okay, if we come over here, the last one with the fractions, kind of take this step by step. We plug negative 3 in here, and we get 1/2 times negative 3, so 1 over 2 times negative 3 over 1. This would be 3, this would be 2, and since it's a negative times a positive, my answer is going to be negative. So I have negative 3 over 2, and I'm going to divide that by 5/4. To divide fractions, I multiply by the reciprocal, so this becomes negative 3 over 2 times 4 over 5. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Negative times a positive is still negative, so now I have negative 12/10, and then I have plus 3/5 minus 1/10. I have to do the plus 3/5 first, which I would want to rewrite 3/5 in terms of tenths, so we have a common denominator, so times 2, so I times 2 up here. Now I have negative 12 plus 6. That's going to get me up to negative 6/10. And then my last thing is to subtract 1/10 from that. So negative 6 minus 1 becomes negative 7/10, which is my answer. Okay, and then the practice at the bottom we can go through as well. They give us a kind of a key here: 2 cups equal 1 pint, 2 pints equal 1 quart, and 4 quarts equal 1 gallon. We just have to use this information to help us solve here. Here we have 3 gallons and 7 quarts. Make 4 gallons, and how many quarts? Well, 7 quarts, that means we have more than a gallon there. If I subtract 4 from this 7, that means I can add that. That's where that extra gallon comes from. There would be 3 quarts left. Okay, for 5 gallons and 3 quarts, I want to figure out how many total quarts that would be. If there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon, that means I'd take 5 times 4 to figure out there's 20 quarts here, plus 3 more will be 23 quarts. 13 pints becomes how many quarts and how many pints? Well, over here, 2 pints is 1 quart. So if I have 13 pints, that would give me 6 quarts, and then I'd have 1 left over, because 6 times 2 is 12, but there's 13, so I have 1 pint left over. 10 cups equals how many quarts and how many pints. So here we have to, a couple steps we have to take care of. First of all, we have to know that if there's 10 cups, how many pints would that be? If there's 2 cups and 1 pint, when I have 10 cups, I'm going to divide this by 2. So I know there's 5 pints altogether. Okay, but if there's 2 pints in 1 quart, and I have 5 pints, that means I can get 2 whole quarts. 5 of those pints will go into quarts, and then there will be 1 left over. Then the last one is going from 18 quarts to figure out how many gallons and then how many pints that is. Okay, so I know that 18 quarts, if there's 4 quarts in a gallon, I can get 4, 8, 12, 16. So I can get 4 gallons out of that, and then that takes up 16 of the quarts. So there's still 2 quarts left over. Okay, so how many pints is 2 quarts? Well, 2 pints is 1 quart, so if I have 2 quarts, that would mean that I have 4 pints. So that's my answer there. So you can see 3, 23, 6, 1, 2, 1, 4, and 4. And then one more time up here, 21, 20, 21, 30 seconds, 43.4, 72, 33, 1, negative 15, 28, and negative 7/10. Good luck with that, guys.